Hi guys, let's take a look at some of the problems that we had with with point and slope from point slope formula. Now remember, with point slope formula, this is my basic formula that I'm going to use. And as we said together, we're going to get one point that's going to come from there. And then we're going to have to put in our slope. So on each of these that we have, they want us to name the point and slope. So basically, I'm going to have to go through and identify it by using that equation. So if I look at the next one, I'm going to highlight the number after the subtraction with the y and the number after the subtraction with the x. This is going to be your x sub 1, and that's going to be your y sub 1. So that means that the point for this is going to be 2, 7. Now this is going to be your m value. So that means m, or your slope, is going to be 8. Okay, let's look at the next one. If I compare the next one, realize that we do have an issue here because we have this plus sign. So remember that kind of watch it piece that we did before. If I have a plus sign there, that's because it originally must have come from having two negatives together. So this must have been the original equation that we started with. Okay, so now the number after the subtraction sign with the y is this. The number after the subtraction sign with the x is this. So that means this is my x sub 1, and that's my y sub 1. So it's going to be 9, negative 1 as your point. This right here is going to be my slope. So my m is going to be negative 1/3, so this is going to be your slope. Okay, now on this last one that's here, you can see there are pluses with both of them. So when I rewrite it, I have to replace it with the two negatives that would be in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the number that is after the minus with the y. Oops, and after the minus with the x. Let me fix this number here. Sorry, that should be a 4. So if I look at this, this is my x sub 1, and that's my y sub 1. So that means my point is going to be negative 1, negative 4. This number is going to be my slope. So my slope is going to be negative 10. Okay, let's look at the backwards version of this. They want me to write point slope form for the following. So remember, we're plugging in to this. Now, just like we said in the last one, my point is going to get plugged in there. And then my slope is going to get plugged in there. So when we talked about this before, we said we had a general framework that we were going to use. So basically, these pieces right here that I've highlighted, I've left space for them down here. And now I just need to decide where my numbers are going to go. So this is my x sub 1, and this is my y sub 1. So there's my 7, and there's my 10. Now this is going to go right in here, so negative 11. Now, I don't have any spots between the y and the number or the x and the number where I have two negatives to make a positive. So this is my point slope form. Okay, now if I set up my outline here, that framework that we talked about before, this is going to be x sub 1, and that's going to be y sub 1. So x sub 1 is going to be negative 3. Y sub 1 is going to be 6, and then your slope goes right in here. Now the only thing that I probably need to deal with is this part right here. So when I have that two negatives become a positive. Here's my equation. Okay, last one. Here is my outline. This is going to be my x sub 1, and this is going to be my y sub 1. So x sub 1 is going to be negative 1, y sub 1 is going to be negative 9, and then my slope is going to go in here. Now, I do have two spots right here where I have two negatives that come together, so those two negatives are going to become a positive. Okay, go over your notes, and then we will do this for the warm-up tomorrow.